Wait, at any point did you stop recording?
No, I didn't stop recording.
Okay, good. All right, here comes the clap. In 3.
Oh shit! No, I did stop. I stopped recording.
Oh god.
I'm sorry. I did not stop recording. I'm still recording.
I'm so kidding. Josh, are you recording right now?
I am recording right now.
Did you ever stop?
Okay.
I did not stop.
Great.
I'm recording
All right,
from the moment.
Frank, let's
Can't
do it.
stop. Won't stop. Let's clap. In 3.
So we
2.
want me to keep recording.
Yes.
Yes.
Won't
Continue.
stop the way that I keep to deliver.
SJ.
I'ma make these haters reconsider.
BPC.
I kick back,
Oh,
stay
yeah.
high up for life.
Oh, yeah.
And now I won't stop.
I won't stop, I can't stop, even if I try. I won't stop, I can't stop, even if I try. I won't stop, I can't stop, even if I try. Even if I try, even if I try.
Welcome to Y'all Boys Talkin', a podcast about nonsensical improvement, where each week we not only talk about bettering ourselves, but we talk about how we can help you better yourself by hearing us better ourselves. My name is Joshua Jean-Baptiste.
Frank Hernandez.
Maximo Santana.
And Steve Valentina.
And the four of us, for the past century, have been developing a concept called STTT, straight to the top. Hey, Max, what is STTT?
STTT is all about getting a direct path to you and success, whatever that looks like to you. We're talking about going straight to the top. No detours, no side quests, no shortcuts. Straight to the top.
And also, you have to have a net.
Net
Nets
growth.
are important.
Nets are important because to
Yeah.
capture anything.
If you only have
that's
one
necessary.
thing with you, you have a net. Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for you guys. I have a question. What would it look like if your greatest fear was coupled with your favorite activity?
Oh God.
Mine would be performing in a dramatic play on a roller coaster.
Gosh. I guess
Yo,
mine would be
fuck
like a video game, like a small talk simulator. I wouldn't play small talk sim 2K19 at all. I hate that.
Yeah, I think mine would be making cockroaches. And I don't even want to know how I would begin that process.
Yeah.
But
The cockroach engineer Steve Valentina.
No, I'll hop on to Max's small talk, but it's like having to make small talk with someone who's on the other end of a sidewalk, and I'm the only other person on the sidewalk, and we're walking towards each other, but in the middle we're watching WrestleMania.
What an oddly specific scenario.
yeah.
I mean, like, have you never been on a sidewalk where there's one other motherfucker all the way on the other side of the
Oh,
sidewalk,
yeah,
and
it's
you're on
pretty
this
awkward.
side of the sidewalk, and you're gonna basically looking at each other for the next 3 minutes.
When do you say hello?
And then, like, you're trying to figure out, how the hell am I not going to pay attention to this person? Should I acknowledge them? Should I say hello?
Take out your phone?
Is this like,
What are you
hey,
gonna do?
man, what's going on?
Well, the sad reality is you'd probably just be on your phone.
There you go.
Oh.
And therein lies the Black Mirror. On that note, Maximo Santana, you are abroad, but not a fraud. Where you at, bro?
I am in Le Petit Paris right now. That's French
You're in
for
the tiny
Paris?
small Paris.
The tiny Paris.
Yeah. I've been here since. Oh, actually, I just got back yesterday. I was in Amsterdam over most of the weekend, but then I was in Paris again before that. And it's a lovely little city. Tonight, I'm going to see a soccer game. Paris Saint-Germain versus Strasbourg. It's gonna be my first European soccer game, so I'm very excited about that. But yeah, Paris has
I mean,
been
football.
great. Football.
The fuck is this soccer
I'm
shit?
sorry, football.
Football.
Yeah.
Have you eaten a lot of French toast?
Dude, yesterday we got baguettes and tomatoes and various cheeses and charcuterie, and we just made our own sandwiches, sat on our little balcony, ate them, had some wine, and we have this wonderful view of this basilica that is like, a third of a mile away. I'm sorry, 2.2 kilometers away. So it just looks lovely out here, and we're just trying to bask in all this loveliness. So and they make
Are
it
you
super
like
easy.
bonding with your siblings?
No, we hate each other, and we always well, no. I'll
Yeah, man, that's why you got to do
Watching
these
your
trips,
back.
get all the bad blood
yes,
out.
no, actually, we have been bonding a lot. I'll get into that a little bit in my rosebud thorn later on today.
Oh,
Okay.
damn, Max, sounds like you're living your best life, bro.
I'm living my best life.
His French life.
I'm living my French
French
life.
life.
Mais petit
Ain't
life.
going back and
Back
forth
and
with
forth
you.
with you, nigga. No?
What? I don't think French people would say the N-word, bro.
Oh, like
Oh.
Yo,
black French people.
in Amsterdam, they were playing fucking Tekashi 6ix9ine on the radio, N-words, everything. Like they don't censor none of the rap music in Amsterdam. So
Yo, shout out to Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
But he's pretty STTB.
and
Yeah, I don't
literally,
know about
he's
that shout out.
not STT at all. But I just turn on the radio and I just hit it with the chicken nigga and the bacon nigga, hit it with the chicken nigga with the bacon nigga. Every 3 minutes of that on radio
Fairly
in
accurate
Amsterdam.
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
On that note, for our first segment, STTT of the week. Cue sound.
STTT of the week.
So our STTT of the week, we're gonna divide this bouquet of flowers and give some flowers to one, Nipsey Hussle. May he rest in peace. He was a rapper, philanthropist, and all-around stand-up guy. He's getting so much love from his community. Gangs are walking and doing marches in solidarity in his honor. Cops are showing him love. It sounds like his neighborhood of Slauson in Los Angeles, California, is really uniting against this amazing man. I wasn't too familiar with him, and I think that's a pretty cool thing because people are looking into his music and he's getting an opportunity to get some love. So we're going to give some STT flowers to him as well as Lil Nas X. Who's that, Frank?
Oh, yo, Lil Nas X, who we talked about last week, has blown up even more because he added Billy Ray Cyrus for some country cred, and the song has blown up even more than it has previously with Will Smith and Ellen and all these people like jumping into the fray because it's definitely something different in country music. It's the idea that country music has been so stringent in its rules that the fact that this song, which, you know, admittedly is a little more trap than it is country, the fact that it's so rigid in there is being challenged on a major scale right now.
Oh, yeah.
And this is definitely going to impact music as a whole going forward.
I love it. I love it a lot.
Duh, I love it. I just want black people to take over country music. And finally, for our main STT of the week, who gets a bulk of the bouquet, is Mr. Akbar Cook. Who's that, Frank?
Akbar Cook is a teacher at Westside High School in Newark, New Jersey, who was seeing that his students were not really doing too well with getting to class or had issues with bullying. So he decided to install a bunch of washing machines into the school so they can do their laundry at school. He instituted a lights on program, which was at 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. because he saw that, you know, they would be getting in trouble at around those hours. So it'd be an open gym, yoga, video games, exercise classes, dancing, henna designs, just things to keep the kids from the streets. And he instituted that himself. So much so that it got a lot of attention, and Cheerios also stocked the pantry at the school with a year's worth of food for all these kids as well.
That's amazing.
Damn.
Dang.
Yeah.
I really
So-
hope Honey Nut Cheerios was one of those, though.
Great
I can't do the regular ones, man.
So
Anyway,
some of
can't
our
do it.
viewers might not know that how exactly a washing machine is going to curb bullying, but as someone that grew up in Miami, and all these guys can tell you, if you came to school and you didn't have fresh kicks, if you didn't have a tape, if you didn't have lotion on, your day was ruined. Your day is over.
Yo, don't you dare be shown ashy.
Right.
Don't you dare walk into the school ashy.
So imagine a teacher at our school that would have like a big canister of lotion, a little station to clean up your kicks, and a barber in the back to give you a tape. That would reduce bullying at our school by 80%, I imagine.
It'd be a completely peaceful environment.
Absolutely.
No one would fight. No one would
an
be
entirely
punch each other.
fresh school. That's absolutely amazing.
That's gross.
As a person who owned shacks in middle school. Now, for some of you who don't understand the gravity of wearing Shaquille O'Neal's branded shoe in the mid 2000s, it was not. Let's just say it wasn't the top of the
Not
social
move,
chain.
Not the move.
No.
Not wearing those shacks. No.
Yo, shout out to Akbar Cook. We give you many flowers this week. Thank you so much for finding such a obscurely, quote, small issue, but that has a huge impact on kids. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. Here's a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
this summer.
Ma'am, are you ready to check out?
Yeah, let me just... Oh no!
She thought she had her bags.
Ma'am, I said, are you ready to check out?
I left my bags!
Hey, just get the plastic bag.
We have got to go back to the car.
This summer, you will witness a story that'll rock your recycling bin.
There is no time.
The Reusables Part 1. Don't forget your bag.
And we are back. Now is the time for our main segment, our challenge checkup. So long ago, we came up with the idea of assigning each other New Year's challenges. And the purpose of this podcast is you are going to be hearing us go through the trials and tribulations of achieving those goals. But there's a catch, Frank.
To raise the stakes a little bit, our 10-year high school reunion is coming up on June 29th. And we've decided to complete all 12 goals, 3 each. By that time, if we fail, we have to give a dissertation to our fellow alumni about how we failed ourselves and each other. But if we complete all these challenges, we'll be showing up to this reunion in a Lambo, blasting
Lamb Talk by Quavo.
Take off.
Mr. Quavo.
Hold on, have you guys heard that song?
So actually, after the first podcast, is the first time I heard Lamb Talk.
I still haven't heard it.
Steve, it's a requirement, bro.
Right, I'll make that as part of one of my challenges.
Yes. That's an easy one to fix. All right, so let's get into it. Who wants to go first?
Me.
All right, Max, what you got for us this week?
This week, I got 3 challenges. My first challenge was to write the first 60 pages of my great American novel. My second challenge was to see a therapist. And my third challenge was to get people up on Best Lives. Personal branding for everybody. So, as you guys know, most of this week I've been in Paris, in Europe. But I still found a good way to get some progress done on most of my goals.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get into it. So in terms of my great American novel, that one I probably did the most progress in. I probably sat down to write maybe 4 or 5 times this week. So I give myself 4.5 maxes, I would say.
Damn, son.
Most importantly, what I did is I outlined the entire plot of the story from beginning to end. I already know the twist.
God, that's amazing.
I already know the characters. I already know the settings and where things are going to shift and all that stuff. I just have to write it all now. But like that stuff was inconceivable maybe 3 weeks ago. I didn't know what the plot was going to be or who all the characters were going to be or what their relationship was to each other. But in writing just the first few parts that were vivid enough in my head and committing that to actual document, then I started realizing, oh, this is the plot that I'm trying to write. These are the characters that need to be in it, and this is where they need to be. So as soon as I had that brain blast, I outlined everything, and I got a plot summary, guys. I know exactly where this novel is going to go.
Ooh,
wow. Damn.
Yeah. So
yo, the fact that you outlined the whole thing is huge.
You exercise maximum foresight.
yeah. Right.
And that is usually the hardest hurdle in writing, bro.
Is it now? Well, I mean, it's my first time doing it, so it all seems hard from beginning to end. So, but it's good to know that I got that under my belt. So excited to see where that goes. And now what I love about this is it allows me to just look at that outline and just pick which part of the book I feel like writing right now. Do I feel like writing the ending? Do I feel like writing something that happens before the twist? Do I feel like writing some, character development more in the beginning? Now I can just jump around to wherever I feel like writing. And I think that's the kind of freedom I was looking for. And I'm very excited to see where that goes.
That is inspiring. Wow. Kudos to you, man.
Yes. And next one, let's talk about Best Lives. So I really didn't do anything on my own for Best Lives this week, but I want to really shout out to y'all boys talking because somebody hit me up on Twitter after listening to an episode of the podcast, I'm going to say it was a friend of the pod, Chelsea.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, who reached out and was like, yo, this actually sounds dope. Can I help? Can I assist? Can I do some of this? And I'm like, yes. As soon as I'm back in the States, I'm coming for you, and we're going to hook you up with the best live. So I got that coming up next week, and I'll probably update you guys with what we were able to do in the next episode. But here it is, Best Lives helping me out once again. And I also want to take a special shout out. Last week, y'all was pointing me out like I was doing something different, and y'all was like, "Oh, Max, are you using this podcast to advance your goals? Aren't we all? Isn't that what we're all here for?" Acting like I'm the only
Seems
one
like
here.
You've been thinking about that one.
Is that your thorn? Is that your thorn of the week?
No, not bitter. Not bitter at all. Feel great. Y'all are bitter.
Racial animus.
Racial animus. I don't think that's what that is.
I just wanted to use that.
Yeah. What about that blog though, Max? What about that blog though?
That's not in my goals right now, Frank.
Oh yeah, that's a separate podcast.
It's not part of the product roadmap right now.
It's not in the cards.
Yeah.
Therapy, I assume you haven't.
You're still waiting on your.
Yeah. So when I talked to them last week, they were going to look at my insurance and figure all that stuff out and tell me what my options were. And then immediately after that, I left the country. So perhaps they did call me back and tell me exactly what my options were. I have not received that phone call because I've been in airplane mode for a week plus. So I think as soon as I get back, I imagine I'll have a number of missed calls and texts that deluge my phone upon landing in SFO, and I'll give them a call back and follow up there. And if they haven't called, I still have the contact information to who I spoke to last week, and I will follow up on my own if I have to, because that's all I need to do to book an appointment. So I'm right there. I'm on the doorstep. I'm on the precipice of therapy, and I'm going to get there.
Okay.
So
Well,
as soon
Max,
as I get back,
I
that's
assume
my
when you get
homework
back,
next week.
you'll fill in the missing holes that you didn't fill this week. But I mean, it sounds like there wasn't a lot of holes.
No. So I think I'm in a good place to just follow up when I get back.
Okay, cool. Wow. All right, great. Steve, what you got for us?
So my challenges are to journal every day, to make 2 tracks of music, and to wait less.
5-song EP on the.
Yeah, it was a 5-song EP.
I bumped up
Five-song
to
EP.
5 songs. It was originally 2, now it's 5. So
Okay,
I was hoping people forgot.
Nope.
It is on the website.
It's on the website. It means it can't be changed, even though I'm the one who changes it.
STT is no shortcuts.
Yeah, no. There's no S in short. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, I got it.
So journaling, I've gotten back into the groove of using my bullet journal, which is also where I write my actual journal entries of how I feel and what my thoughts are. On that aspect, I got maybe a 4 out of 7 max is.
Okay.
I haven't been writing as much, but I've been using the journal more. So the writing aspect has been it's like a minor kink in just my schedule, where I may just clock in like really late, and then I'm just like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow on the train or something, and then it just kind of doesn't happen because on the train I do something else, whether it's like trying to make music or just read about stuff. It's just like a matter of finding an exact moment, or finding a repeatable time and place that I can journal.
So in the days that you did get your 4 of 7, what times were those?
It was right before going to sleep, as I had already drank some tea to help me fall asleep, and waiting for it to, I guess, kick in. I would just be in my bed. It would be dark. It'd be quiet, and I could just write for 20-30 minutes.
Sun is down, freezing cold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I get into Rido mode.
London's not on that track.
with tea.
Got it. Rido mode. Yeah.
Rido mode. Okay.
Yeah. So I maybe if I listen to more Travis Scott, that'll get me to journal more consistent.
Okay.
So that's that challenge. Making music, I didn't do quite as good as before. I've been more on the, I guess, learning kind of phase, because the software I'm using, LSDJ, it's a bit rudimentary, and if you kind of take it for as it is, it's just gonna sound like 8 bits, like
Still music.
Yeah, like Game Boy music, which is it's cool, but I want to see like the full range of what it can do, and I've just been learning about this really, I guess, advanced feature called like the tables, where to my understanding, it's just like filters and all these crazy things you can do at like a half note level. I don't know. The whole thing's crazy. I wish I could share like screenshots of this software, because it's literally just text and hex code, and it's wacky, but I love it. It feels
it's a wacky software.
Yeah, it feels intuitive in some way. So more than anything, actually, no. You know what? I take it back. I have been doing a lot for
that was quick.
For
wow.
the music making.
It's a lot of progress.
More so because there was a song I really liked that I discovered a few months ago that I found out was a cover of a famous French song, which I don't remember. I can't. It's like Clair de Lune or something like that, but it means moonlight. Well, I mean, Max, you would know
There's literally a bar called Clair de Lune right down the street, and yes,
yeah,
it means
yeah.
moonlight.
There you go.
Can you go over there real quick and ask them?
Yeah. Hello, hey, was Steve here? I'll just
see exactly. It's a famous song, and I didn't know about it. And when I thought what I had heard, which was something made in like the 70s, I was like, wow, this is so original, so great. No, it was a cover from something that was made in like 1915 or super early. So
Clair de Lune is hundreds of years old.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm more okay with the idea of either covering or resampling melodies that just haven't been that popularized. So I've been exploring ones that I found really interesting that I don't see many people doing stuff with. And you know what? I don't need a degree in music theory to download a MIDI file and learn and deconstruct a melody and instruments. So
you got this.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it'll accelerate my music making progress.
So you're lubing yourself up for another productive week next week.
Full lube.
Okay.
And my last challenge is waiting. Or no, it's to not wait. I shouldn't be waiting.
And wait less.
Yeah. So typically, like day to day, you know, I maybe think of big decisions that I would think that I'm maybe dwelling on, and you know, I should just act on them. But there's some that I kind of have been doing it for so long, I honestly forgot that I was waiting. And it wasn't until I was talking to Celeste earlier this week, just really randomly about a blog I wanted to write for maybe like the past year or two, simply on sharing knowledge and ideas that I had on just very practical things, like the most straightforward and obvious being like budgeting, personal finance, just things in that realm, but then other various things that I find have been very beneficial to me that I would like other people to at least consider learning about, like how, even though I learned how to ride the bike when I was 19, which some may consider a little late, but it's been amazing for the past 8 years that I've been doing it. And it's one of those things that it's like, if someone's been kind of on the fence about it, I would want to convince them with this blog that I have. So it's a work in progress, and the aspect of not waiting is that by the time people hear this episode, when it airs, is that I will have released a blog post.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Steve, as you know,
some people think blogs are like journals too. And
yeah,
if you wanted to combine that personal goal with this podcast goal, that seems like a perfect way. If you put a blog post out that day, that sounds like you journaled.
Jurisdiction over the challenge that I gave Steve.
Yeah, that's
Correct. Josh, what would you say if Steve wrote a blog post in a day? Does that?
Oh, so were you talking to me about that?
I was putting it out in the ether. I was talking to the podcast at large.
He was speaking to all of us here, to
Yeah.
the people, the listeners.
Yeah.
You know, Steve, I, as much as I would like that for you, I think the act of scribbling in a journal is a profound one. If you wanna have a supplementary digital version of what you wrote, that's great. However, my challenge to you is the act of writing in a journal.
So
and this is something I went over a bit with Celeste too, because she saw that, hey, this is technically writing. Like, would this cover your journaling? And I'm on your boat in that. Yeah, it's supplementary. I would the audiences are very different. The journals for me, the blog would be for pretty much everyone else, like of all sorts of walks of life. So
separate markets,
very separate markets, different tones, and different goals. Honestly, so
cool.
Yeah, those are my challenges.
Oh, okay.
Steve, as you know, I'm also a very big fan of friends writing blogs. So,
Frank, I got you. That is one of my own agendas. It's in my roadmap. So
I'm just looking for a close friend to like write a blog that I could read. I was just looking for them.
I'll populate your RSS feed or whatever you use to read blogs. I got you, Frank.
Wait, Steve, I have one more thing. What are your progress points this week? I mean, not progress points, but
maxes.
How many maxes?
No, not even that. Like, what are your points for progress that you're gonna do for next week?
So journaling. Maybe Travis Scott won't be the solution to do it
what
consistently. Not to get into Rido mode. I think maybe finding because my nights are so volatile in terms of time. I think earlier in the day would be better. It's just hard because I can't reflect on what hasn't happened yet, so it would have to.
Well, what about the night before?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The nights are where it's tricky.
No, I mean like you write in the morning for the day before.
Oh, right. Yeah,
because memory goes like backwards, so you can like.
Oh. How you know Steve doesn't have forward memories?
I only remember forward. Yeah.
You got that foresight.
I can do that. Making music. I'd still say I'm making progress. It for me, it's a very new field.
Okay.
To dip my toes
your
into.
intake.
So I'm doing a lot of intake.
Got it.
And waiting. Yeah, just releasing that blog and being more diligent of the other projects and goals that I've set for myself months ago, years ago, and trying to address them as soon as reasonably possible because I can't do everything at once.
Got it. Okay, cool. Great. Frank, what you got for us?
All right, so this week, guys, I got 3 challenges.
Uh-huh.
My first one is to maintain a consistent meditation regimen. Second is to try the no S diet, no snacks, no sweets, no seconds for 4 weeks. And the third one is to speak up more at work concerning social issues. Meditation. You guys know the
You're levitating. You're on a worldly plane now.
Yeah, you are the last airbender now, right?
62 days.
Wow.
62 days. Wow. Like, I'm not airbending at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually been kind of tough this week.
Oh, yeah?
I've done the meditation because I think the best thing to help these goals is, one, the accountability is fantastic, but also having that analog, like, checkmark system that I have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it becomes, like, 10:30 p.m., like, one of the past days of the week, it was, like, 10:30 p.m., and I hadn't meditated yet. But just knowing that I'd have to write an X instead of a check mark, that pressure made me sit my ass down for 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so you use X's for failures and checks
yes.
for...
It's a big red X and a green check mark. That's
yes.
how I have it on my board. So if I have, just putting down a red X, like it adds just so much, like, oh man, I fucked up.
That measurement piece.
Yeah.
So I work as hard to do green checks.
I recently started using red markers in my journal, and I for a task I don't do that I set out to do that day, I write failure next to it.
Oh shit!
And I've only done it once, and it feels so bad to look at. So
right,
that pressure with analog, it's
Yeah, I've also started on my calendar. I would mark my workout days with like the total number of reps I was gonna do in all my workouts, right? So let's say I was gonna do a bunch of push-ups, sit-ups, and curls and all that stuff, and let's say it was all in all 225 reps, right? And on those days that I was gonna go to the gym, on my calendar that Monday, I would write the 0 out of 225, and then that day I would go in and write 225 out of 225 if I did all my reps. And then after that, just write how many reps I did on that day at the gym. And then, bro, let me tell you about writing a 0 out of 225. Oof. That's a mega F. That is a failure beyond failures.
Yeah.
So that really got me more into the mix of, sometimes I'd be much more excited about writing the 225 than, of course, doing the actual workout. And that
right.
made it a lot easier.
It's incredibly powerful. And I've also used I'm using that same system now for my no-S diet. I actually didn't track it through my analog system before, but this is the first week that I did it. And last week, I hit the famed 7 out of 7. This week, nope. 5 out of 7. 5 out of 7.
Oh, that's not bad.
You know, so it was all right. But how I failed, so my roommate, the illustrious Adian, who you guys heard last week, illustrious.
He's an illustrator.
He had a bunch of people over, and one of those people brought a bunch of these mini cupcakes, these Easter mini cupcakes.
Nice.
And like, it's become kind of a running joke with Adian and I that anytime I make a cake, if Adian ever sees the cake, that's a miracle. Because those cupcakes came to this house and they did not survive very long. And I went in, guys. Like it's like I'd never seen a cupcake before in my life.
Frank was discovering cupcakes.
Yeah, because the thing is, I've been so good with my diet, you know, and everything's like, obviously sugar is one of the 3 S's to eliminate, and I just went in. Like, by the end, I was just like, what have I done? So that was really rough. And then I ordered Uber Eats on the days of the week. I gave myself one, but I ordered just way too much. It's a super spicy chicken that, you know, it's just not been good. So next week, like, I'm gonna keep it again. And writing those red X's have been fucking difficult. But
Frank, would you say? Because I think I've noticed at times, like with like the no S thing, you seem to be like all or nothing. Like if you kind of cave in a little bit one day, you'll just like cave in like crazy.
Like
yeah, you just you like you said, you go in. What if instead of having it so like binary where it's like success or fail, where even if you just take one cupcake, you're like, you know what, I'm accepting that I'm gonna have this one cupcake, but that's it. And then that's like maybe like a half failure, like not an X but like a slash. So it's like you attempted it and you kind of reason with yourself. It's almost like a compromise, but it's not like this big open door for all the cupcakes your stomach can handle.
Yeah, I'm doing that in a smaller sense because I do get a DiGiorno pizza on Friday nights, so that's kind of like my reward, and keeping it to just that DiGiorno pizza, like it's great. It's something I look forward to during the week when I eat stuff that I'm not like, oh, this isn't the best thing or whatever. Like, I keep myself focused. I'm like, hey, but on Friday you're gonna be able to have that pizza, and it also helps me curb myself from eating like bad stuff throughout the week. But yeah, it's just like that one cupcake versus 20 cupcakes thing that
I will say though,
hard.
dropping from 7 out of 7 to 5 out of 7 is not that's a stumble.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having your high standards for yourself, but that still deserves some kudos. And technically 5 days out of 7, that's 5 days. Technically, maybe they're weekends. You know, there's 5 weekdays, so the math basically.
Nah, I don't know if it works like that.
Either way, I think it was a short stumble. However, shout out to your integrity of wanting to keep the fire going.
That boy Frank has high standards.
Just try and keep high standards for myself. And if I want to do like a full week, I really liked having the full week last week, so not having it this week was a bit of a bummer. And for my third challenge, it's speak up more at work concerning social issues. Now, I was hanging out with a couple of coworkers, and one of the things that I noticed that actually my ex brought up is like how I talk with my coworkers versus how I talk with y'all boys.
Are you talking about us?
Not just y'all boys, but it made me really think about like, what do I really sound like? What do I really sound like, and why do I sound this different to all these people? Because to myself, I sound the same to everybody. Because I know the message that I'm trying to get across, but I manipulate it to the audience that exists.
Yeah.
So then I thought about my history of doing it, because my first language is Spanish. I learned English from watching Seinfeld. So then when I moved to Miami, So then when I moved to Miami, all these kids told me that I talked white. So then all of a sudden I tried to change my vernacular a little bit to try and fit in more with these kids so they can accept me a bit more. Then I go to San Francisco, California, and have a bunch more white friends. Then I switch to them. Then I go to this job where I called one of my coworkers nigga. Just like, vibe, nigga. And then I saw a white guy.
Oh, man.
I told a white guy, vibe, nigga. And then I saw the look on his face. And then immediately I realized, oh, that was a bad idea.
Calling that white guy nigga.
I call that white guy, and he was
You
just
must
trying to
have
help me
confused
out.
him so much.
He was so confused.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen a person more confused in my life.
Yeah.
He was like helping me like learn like some technical thing. And I'm like, vibe, nigga. And I saw the look on his face and I was just like, oh, I probably shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Did you say anything after?
I switched it up like chill, bro. Like I really just like swapped it. Like,
hold it, bucko.
Wow, that is a 180.
Cool down, brethren.
So like now at the office, I say like, "What's up, my dude?" You know, like where I would say, "What's up, my nigga?" You know, like there's just things, and then I wouldn't even say nigga before moving to Miami because again, Seinfeld. So it's just kind of weird, like
Seinfeld.
how. Yeah, no, seriously, like that's why I sound the way I do because that's how I learned English.
Yeah,
and it's interesting to see like all these places and how it's changed, and like how have been your experiences as far as like changing your voice to where you are.
So you didn't find yourself in a compromising situation this week. It was just more of a self-evaluation.
Yeah, I really had to sit down and think about it. Just like, yo, like, how am I switching this often? Like, what does my true voice sound like?
Damn, that's real.
You know.
I hope you find it, Frank.
I also asked a question.
Yeah.
So I can give one example recently where I just started a new position in November. And at that time, I was the only person of color on my team. And when I first started, you know, the first meetings I went to, they'd be like, Max, you're kind of quiet there. And I'd be like, yeah, you know, I'm still learning, still picking up the ropes and all that stuff. And around January, they hired another person of color on the team. And all of a sudden, Max is cracking jokes. Max is laughing out loud. Max is like setting the agenda at the meeting. And they're just like, wow, I never knew had it in you, Max. And I'm just like, y'all just gave me a friend. Y'all just gave me someone that literally
someone you can relate
my language. Yeah, someone that I can talk freely to. That's going to make sense of like all my like late 2000s like R&B jokes, right? Like just no one else would get that stuff, right? It's not that I was quiet. It's just like literally you don't understand the references that I'm making due to the music and the movies that I was particularly interested in. And then when they gave me someone that could understand that, it was just like, whoa, apparently Max just did this whole flip and he was just waiting for da-da-da. It's like, yeah, there's someone that can understand me now. That's what happened.
Yeah, I don't have any specific instances, just because I think I do it way too much.
Really?
Because
Code switch?
Yeah, it's not exactly code switching, but catering my message, my audience, or catering my jokes, my humor to very specific types of people. Where, because what I say are like the actual words I pick and choose. It's almost universal across everyone. I don't curse. I tend to go on like the more safer side of saying things. So in that context, it's pretty much the same. But, you know, slang that I picked up from Miami, I use it with my Miami friends or people that I'm trying to put down on it. But with like coding jokes, for example, I don't think you guys have heard me say very many, like unless it's like blatantly obvious or there's context to it. But my homie Sean, I see him as like, and he's also I think it helps that he's also from Miami and he's like an older version of like he's an older programmer friend that I have, so it's like I there's so much I could instill in him with like the jokes, and he'll always get it because he's probably already done it. So it's things like that are kind of nice to have.
I recently got called out on that. I recently formed a black person like union at my job. And we had our first meeting this week. And yeah, one of the first issues we brought up, we're like, hey, Josh, you tend to say the N-word around white people.
Yeah, you do. Which has always made me feel very uncomfortable because of that experience with my coworker. And then seeing you do it, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. When have I done it around you?
Look, we've had social situations and there's white people there. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, she was just like, yeah, I don't. It's kind of weird. I was like, damn. I said, all right, yeah. I mean, I try to be me in all facets of life. And I mean, I think there's some sort of freedom to that, but I've been told that saying that around certain white people might make them feel comfortable to say it.
And that's really it, because it's like being your true self. Being your true self, like, it's always where you should be. That should always be you. And that's where I hit that wall when I told that to my coworker, is that, like, I don't want these people to be comfortable saying the N-word around me. That episode of Atlanta, the first episode of Atlanta,
right,
where Ern's friend is just like, "What's up, my nigga?" Like, and he's like, that's a friend, that's a person who's made it very known to his friend that he's comfortable with it. Ern is definitely not comfortable with it. He's a little bit like, he doesn't like explicitly like fight it, but he's been around this guy enough that he knows that he says this often, but he doesn't like, hey, check him on it. And I don't want to be that dude that says it all the time. And then when white people start saying it around me, I can be like, hey, what you do? Like, I'm doing it all the time too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's one of the many journeys of being black in America.
Black in America.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And I think the other edge of the sword that I don't think a lot of people talk too much about, because it's not really about them, but yeah, it does confuse white people. If you ask white people that do say the N-word, where would you get the idea that that's okay for you to say that? The number one thing they'll cite is like, well, it's in all my favorite songs. All my favorite musicians use this
I have
word.
black friends. They say it.
Exactly, right? Or I have a pass to say it because I'm from a specific background that is not African American or African or black at all, but it's black adjacent or like close enough to it that I feel like I have some connection to that, culture. And that's like, I think that's the number two excuse. So again, when white people hear you say it, some of them might feel like they're getting a pass. Like, this person's comfortable saying it around me. I guess I have some sort of status to, interact with that word. And obviously, like, that's not any part of what we're saying, but people will pick it up that way. I don't know why. I don't know who told white people if somebody says nigga around you, then you can, like, after 100 times of witnessing it, you can then use it. I don't know
you get the pass.
Yeah, it'll rub off on you. You'll get this. I don't know. Like, but some people review it that way, and it doesn't make any sense to me either. But I think people should just be aware that, not everyone's going to react to that word the same way. And some people are going to feel like they're being granted a license after a certain amount of exposure that they can use it, which I don't understand what the conversion ratio is for that. But some people feel like that's what's happening.
Fax machine. All right. Thank you for that. Josh, what you got? I did all my goals and we're good. All right.
Oh, okay.
That was the
all right. All right, cue music. Third segment.
Yeah.
I would want to have like a time where we do that though. Just once.
Just like, did it.
Just do that every week.
So my challenges are to keep a consistent workout schedule, to be mindful and pay attention to my finances and give tender love and care to it, and lastly, to come out with music, specifically a 4-track mixtape.
5.
I don't know what to record more music bonus for There's a Banjo.
All right, record more. Well, yeah, I need. Well, what does that mean? I think I said I need to come out with a mixtape.
You said you were going to come out with a mixtape.
Yeah.
All right,
I said record more music, put a banjo in it, and then you said mixtape. So I think it's mixtape.
All right, so I'm coming out with a mixtape. Those are my 3 goals. So for my workout schedule, look, man, I didn't do it 4 times this week.
I don't like when you start with look,
I even
man.
like how that started. Yeah.
I did not go 4 times this week like I said I was going to. However, I went twice this week, but I will say this. While I was working out on my second day, the push-ups were easier, the sit-ups were easier, some of the weights were easier. And I said, wow, sit-ups used to be the worst part of my workout. Now I'm like doing them like relatively quicker. And it stopped and hit me. I have consistently been going twice a week for the past like 4 weeks.
Hey.
So I've established a new, huh?
When was the last time you did that?
Yeah, before these challenges.
Before that happened, when was the last time you went to the gym?
Before that, it was like once a month.
There you go.
So I accept the fact that I didn't go 4 times this week like I said I would. However, I've set a new threshold for my workout regimen. And since we started this podcast, relatively, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know, somebody might fact check me, but I think there's only been 2 to 3 out of the 10 weeks where I didn't work out at all. Like I at least always worked out once or twice a week. So I'm actually going to give myself flowers for that. However, I did not go 4 times this week like I said I would.
Okay, and what happened?
I'm going to shoot again to do it again next week.
So after you did 2, what was so difficult about number 3?
I just didn't. I started doing it in the latter half of the week, and I was like, I'll do it.
So you didn't
like
start your week with this.
Sounds like you're waiting.
I was waiting. So
What
I
for?
at least know if I'm gonna at least do 2 at the week, then let me do it at the top of the week, so then I at least have another 5 days to slack. If not, you know.
Yeah, stack
so
the week early.
Exactly.
Josh, how would you consider a analog tracker so you can follow your workouts this
Yes,
way?
I will make an analog tracker. Can you please send me a picture of what yours look like so I can get some ideas?
Swag, yeah.
Do you have a calendar or a journal?
I have a self-contained hootenanny.
Do you have a calendar or a
amazing.
journal?
Yes, I have both of those things.
Are they analog?
I can make one.
Oh, do you have one?
Okay,
I'm not
yeah.
asking you to invent some brand new stuff that you're going to use once and then forget about. I'm saying, do you have anything existing that you could just add on to?
Yes.
Okay. Which one?
It is a dry erase board.
Ooh.
That's
love me some
perfect.
dry
That's
erase
what I
boards.
use.
Yes, exactly. Go ahead. So start marking this on your dry erase board then.
Okay.
Have a goal of how many workouts you want to have. Like write workout 1, workout 2, workout 3, workout 4. Cross them off as you do that. Or if one of them is going to be leg day, arm day, ab day, ass day, whatever it is, mark them off as you do them. Like you need the physical act of crossing it off or erasing it or, filling in the circle or checking, whatever it is. Give yourself a physical thing to do once you've completed it and allow yourself to visualize how much you have left to go.
That actually sounds like a really good idea. I hadn't thought about that. Thank you for that. For my budget, so this week I actually did more diligence about managing my debt. I did a lot of research on balance transfers. Steve, we talked about that last week. I applied for a credit card. They approved me.
Okay.
For a credit card. However, it's not as much as I need to cover the full extent of my balance transfer. So I might actually not get that to look for something that does cover my entire balance, because it doesn't make sense for me to like take some money from one and I'm still getting high interest on another. It's a little convoluted. I want to keep it centralized.
Good idea.
So I'm trying to do some.
I will also add in there, careful with how many credit cards you open. When you open a credit card, that's going to do a hard credit check. So a lot of people get this confused a lot. They think some people think checking your credit score is going to negatively impact your credit score. That's not true. But when you do a hard credit pull, which is like a background check when you open a credit card or take out a loan or you're buying a house, those are all hard credit pulls. So each time you do that, that will stack up and those stay on your credit report for up to 2 years. So don't open so many in so little time because those will negatively impact your credit score. And that then your credit limit will be lower and lower as well.
Copy that.
Yeah, those are huge facts. And to add to that, I would say that the general rule of thumb to space out the hard inquiries is, I think, about 6 months.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, of opening accounts and background checks and all that. At once every 6 months, you should be okay. But if you open up a bunch of accounts in the span of like a week, it seems very sketchy to the eyes
like
of
you're trying to pull a fast one.
Yeah, trying to pull a fast one on these agencies. So I think it's a good idea. Make sure you look into what your credit limit will be before you go into opening the account. And perhaps.
Well, I already did.
Good. So yeah. So in that case, if you
They're
did that,
sending me
and
my
then
card this week.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So if you did that and then you saw it wasn't enough, you should stop that before the pull so that it doesn't affect your score.
Yeah. Well, at this point, it seems like Josh is already committed to it.
Right.
Yeah, they're mailing it to me this week.
But even then, I was gonna say, it may not. It really depends on your score and just your credit score and certain factors. But you may or may not get other or better credit limits off the bat. Maybe because you only don't have that many credit cards to begin with. Like they want to start you off slow.
Right. And that's what I figured. So I was like, well, maybe I'll move most of my debt to that one and then like chip away at that 0 APR and then
even then I think you should, even though this limit is low in your eyes and what I'm going to tell you is not going to be even seemingly helpful, but you should try to limit the amount you transfer into anywhere between like 30%, no more than 30%. Because if you do more than that, then that also negatively affects your credit score.
Oh God,
big facts.
Yeah,
30% and below is where you should always keep your cards.
Yeah.
To everyone, to all of our listeners, if you have your credit card, try and keep it at less than 30% at all times to help your credit score.
Yeah, if you use it like a debit card, that'll maximize the potential positive impact your credit card can have on your credit score. Just use it like a debit card. Rule of thumb, if you can, of course.
Hey Steve, can I check in with you this week?
Yes,
I recommend it. Yes,
we can reconsolidate some the strategies.
Yeah, especially
great.
I recommend when the card comes in, why don't you just do another follow up to see exactly what the best move is for moving money from one place to another.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, great. And also I did take some L's this week. I spent money on a couple of outings that I shouldn't have. But I also made a lot of money. But it's just like I fucked up.
Josh. At times, trust me, it is okay to splurge to enjoy life. You don't being financially smart isn't about being stingy with money. It's about planning for it. So as long as you understand what money you're not giving yourself, that you spent on the fun, that what you allocated away from, and if it still makes sense, then you shouldn't have to be so hard on yourself.
Well, I will say this. I made like 2 to 3 credit card payments this week before my bill was even due.
See, there you go. That
plan that we came up with last week, Steve, it's been going pretty well.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, not to say there should that's good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I would also go a step further to say that this kind of launches in with Frank's dietary goals as well. Like, you can step out of what your plan is as long as that's truly an exception, right? Like spending money in these places or eating a DiGiorno pizza. As long as that is the exception, that's A-okay. As long as you yourself are following the rules, the vast majority of the time, it's okay to step away from it every once in a while and enjoy your life. But when you look at these times where you step away and you're like, oh, actually I step away every single week, or I step away 3 times every single month, that's not an exception. That is what your plan is, and that's not a sustainable way to keep going forward. So as long as it's truly an exception, like, go ahead and enjoy yourself. But if you're making an exception every single week, understand that is not an exception. That is the plan.
Damn, Max, you just healed us.
Thank you for that. And my last goal was to make music. I've been killing it.
Nice.
Woo-wee! Bitch, I've been killing it.
IG, dog.
Yeehaw.
Bitch, I've been killing it. Yo, Lil Nas X really put a fire in my ass.
Oh, yeah?
I've been really fervent about, like, getting ahead of this, like, wave of
it's coming
hip-hop country. And I'm really excited. And I even got an idea of kind of like what my mixtape's going to be. I'm going to have some songs that I've always wanted to write, to rapping over beats that I've always loved. Adian Lewis, hopefully when he listens to this, he'll send me that beat. Frank, if he
yeah.
Josh said, knock on his door, be like, hey, Josh had a reminder to send him a beat. And so, so a mix of like, something new, original stuff, different beats. Like I've had an idea of what it's gonna be. I think I'm gonna call it LOL raps.
Like LOL or
LULL or LOL?
Yeah, LOL raps, LOL raps. Paying homage to LOL cats. And I've been practicing the banjo consistently over rap beats, and then I picked a rap beat this week, and I started writing a new song about being vegan, and but it's gonna be a diss track to like meat eaters.
Wait, then technically aren't you making beef?
Oh shit!
Oh,
all right, and that's the end of our challenge checkups. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
My skincare routine is locked tight. Aloe in the morning, cucumbers before bed, warm water to open the pores, and cold water to close them. It's a lot to keep up. What you don't see is how much water I drink throughout the day. I have a glass of water right before each meal and right when I'm eating. If I don't, all the aloe, cucumbers, and facial cleanses don't really do much. Drinking water gives your skin an even tone, diminishes dark spots, and just makes me glow. If you care about your skin, you care about drinking water. Time to open up those pores.
And we are back for our final segment, Rose, Bud, Thorn. Cue sound.
Oh, I got my rose, I got my bud, I got my thorn. Here is the rose and thorn and the bud of the week. I got my rose and my thorn and my bud.
So we like to pay homage and give gratitude to our week by giving a rose, a bud, a thorn. A rose is something that happened this week that you're really grateful for. A bud is something that's happening next week that you're looking forward to. And a thorn is something that was like a in your side.
I don't. What is like? Nice what is that? Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Is that
a
refreshing
thorn? Like, what is that? Okay.
Hey, we're keeping it. All right, Max, what you got for us?
All right, I got a rose, I got a bud, I got a thorn. Let's start off with my rose. Man, biking in Amsterdam was a blast. Biking culture there is so serious. I did not see a single helmet when I was there. They have their own protected biking lanes, and the whole family will be biking out. Like, it's a thing. You get your first bike when you're like, 4. And from then, you're just biking to church. You're biking to the grocery store. You're biking to grandma's house. You're biking to school. And to see those people grow up and then continue to bike to all their social functions and everything, it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And the city's formed around that. And I thought the Pacific Northwest had a great biking culture, but seeing how people do it in Amsterdam, that's the pinnacle. That's the peak biking culture right there. And I love just participating in that for a week. Yes. My bud. I got a few buds this week. I'm excited about a few things coming up next week. Number one, I have a lot of romantic energy, and I found someone to put it into, which is, I love ideating, like, dates and fun, wonderful, romantic experiences, and it's something I do, I guess, on my own at all times of the year. But then having a specific person that inspires me to invite them in on that is a whole different journey. So I'm excited about that starting up. Also,
you're gonna need to give us some details offline about that, mister.
Oh yeah, some podcast talk, yeah. Also, I got you guys some gifts that are going to help each of you in your challenges. And they either came from Paris or from Amsterdam. So next week, I'll be telling you guys about what your gifts are and how I hope you can use them to help you better yourselves.
Damn.
I
feel like an asshole because we didn't get you nothing for your birthday, dog.
We didn't get you.
Yeah, thanks. That's what you get, the man that has everything. So perfect gift, number one. And my thorn has been traveling with Jeff.
What?
My thorn. Jeff is my brother, and Jeff is super smart. He knows exactly when all the taxis come and when all the plane leaves, and exactly how long it takes him to get to those planes and stuff. It's great. Except for when one thing changes, then all the plans fall apart, and then you're running through an airport at 2:30 in the morning trying to get to Amsterdam. And that's what happened 3 days ago.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, and I'm thinking my brother's used to it. He's been living in Europe for almost 2 months now, and he's been flying from Spain to London to Amsterdam to Paris. I thought he's got this international travel stuff down packed. No. Not quite. So I've been dealing with that this week, and it has been a little bit of a thorn in my side.
A little bit of
Not quite.
A little.
I hope there's not too many.
Not in
Oh,
the travel
God.
part, no.
All right,
so,
Frank, what you got for us?
Yo, this is my favorite Thorn Rosebud segment we've ever done. In 10 weeks, this is
Ooh.
easily the best.
Tell us why.
So, let's get the bad stuff out of the way. My anxiety's been really bad. Definitely a thorn in my, in my side this week. Yeah, I didn't realize I took the ending of my second job as hard as I did, but Monday morning was rough. Getting up was rough. The gym was rough. I called out of work. I just was kind of unable to really do much of anything. Until talking to my therapist to really kind of like get to the bottom of this. But yeah, it's just kind of really been a difficult week of trying to adjust to my life post having this for like the past 10 months now it's just completely over. And I'm just like, all right, I have like my plans in mind of what I want to do with my next few months and years of my life, but actually getting started on them, pushing forward on all this stuff has been a little more difficult than that. But I've been feeling better, especially later on in the week, and hopefully next week will be better. But my rose of this week is my best friend of 17 years just had his first MMA fight yesterday, which not only did he win, he won by knockout in the most badass way possible. Like, I can't tell you how proud I am of this guy. He's just always been, like, always had my back since we were little kids. And to be able to watch his stuff on, like, the streaming service that and, like, do what he loves, what he truly loves, because every time we talked, like, I hear his voice like light up when he talks about MMA and how much work and effort he puts into it, and to see that pay off in the most fantastic way, like, it just brings me so much joy. So that's 100% my rose this week. And my bud is actually happening in a couple hours. So I am a pro wrestling aficionado, and today is Wrestle Frickin' Mania. So it is, for those who don't know, it is the biggest event of wrestling a year, and I could not be more excited. There's a wrestler named Kofi Kingston who has the opportunity to become only the fourth ever African-American WWE champion in history, because there's only been 4, and the second WWE champion after The Rock. So there's a lot riding on this, and I'm super duper excited, and I'm all down for Kofi Mania. To my wrestling fans out there, fuck it. By the time you listen to this, he's probably already champion. We'll see. But in this world of this recording session, I don't know yet, so we're about to find out.
Damn.
That sounds like Big Eats.
Big Eats.
Steve, what you got?
So my of the week was trying to cancel my YMCA membership, just to put it on pause because I haven't been going because of I go there I go there to swim, and I've had these like bad skin conditions that haven't been letting me make use of the pool. So I tried canceling it, and I was a day late, and I had to basically pay for a month that I won't be using for. So that's a little unfortunate.
That's a little
very but that coincided with my rose, which on the way there, it's right next to the Bay Area Bay Bridge, which is a very beautiful bridge, and I stopped by there, took a picture of it because of daylight savings. It was a lot brighter out, and on my way there, I found a wallet, and I was like, "Yo, this is I've lost my wallet like twice in the past like year or two. Like, this is my time to look out for someone who didn't look out for me when I lost it." So at first I was just kind of waiting to see if they would come, and just after enough, maybe like 10-15 minutes, no one showed up. So I started looking, found some identification. I started looking the guy up. The guy had a pretty common name. It was Ethiopian, from what Facebook told me from the dozens of people with the same name. I got a phone number. It felt like I was catfishing him. From everything I learned,
catfishing.
And just as I'm calling him, a guy comes up to me, and I look. I was like, "Oh, it's him," and he's like, "Yo, thank you." And he like shakes my hands twice. He's like super happy, and that felt nice. Even though it wasn't anything I don't know. I just would have felt really weird just leaving it there.
That's STTT, man.
That's STTT. We're gonna give you that next week, bro.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I did it all for that.
Nice.
No. So my bud is going to Utah again this week to see the illustrious Celeste. And instead of snowboarding, we are going to see Antelope Canyon, which, if you don't know, because I didn't know what it was called, if you've ever seen these pictures of these kind of like orange walls that are like really, really smooth and wavy, but it's like dark and the lighting is like really beautiful.
Oh, wow.
That's Antelope Canyon. And
Oh, you mean where Free Solo takes place?
Maybe. I've been meaning to watch that movie, but
that is it is a butt workout. Your butt cheeks are gonna be clenched the entire time.
Oh yeah. I've heard it. It's a very tense movie. But,
I don't think you guys are talking about the same thing, but
yeah, I don't think so, because this is not a mountain.
It's like
the opposite of a mountain.
path carved out by like winds and rivers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about.
It's very orange and smooth and beautiful. So
they're both in Utah though, and that's
okay. Probably yeah. Utah, and it has a lot of great scenery. So
That's
shout
cool.
out to Utah.
Shout out to Utah.
Josh,
hey,
how you doing?
You want to do a podcast with us?
Do you? What's your?
Yes, I have a of the week. My thorn of the week is that there's a girl that I have a crush on, and I was at an event or something this week, and I was standing next to her. And dialogue was good. We were talking, and I was like, "Josh, you should ask her out right now." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna do it." And I was about to do it, and I didn't.
Aww.
And then there was another chance to do it. I was like, do it now. And I didn't. And then there was another one. And then I started talking about something completely different. So that was a bit of a in my side. My rose, though, on the opposite of that, is that I took the chance to be honest with someone that I did not want to have a romantic connection with. And I normally am really apprehensive and scared to do that. And I'm trying my best to. I've always tried my best to not be a fuckboy.
Great.
And I
in all cases, we should all try
at all times.
Yes,
we should all
absolutely.
aspire not to be
Bare
a fuckboy.
minimum.
Yeah.
I was very direct and honest, and it went pretty smoothly. And I was just giving myself props because it set a whole precedent of like, oh my God, this is not crazy. You don't need to ghost or anything. So that's good. And my bud for next week is I've been teaching a screenwriting class, and my student is awesome, and she's growing, and we're making an awesome movie, and I'm excited. Shout out to you, Steph. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. This is another episode of Y'all Boys Talking in the Can.
10 episodes.
10 episodes. This is our 10th annual episode.
No,
10th
10th week.
10th week. We've hit double digits.
Anniversary.
This is our 10-week anniversary.
Yeah.
We look forward to 10 more. Seriously, if you listen to this podcast every week, or if you just started listening to this podcast, if our words are in your brain right now, thank you. Let the vibrations make you feel that. Have a wonderful, productive week.
We got a couple shout outs that we want to give. Shout out to Gino Music for making the theme song. The song is called Won't Stop. Eddie and Lewis for making the interstitial music and giving us the good vibes. Follow along with our challenges at y'allboystalkin.com. Subscribe to us via iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud. Also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Y'all Boys Talkin'. New episodes every week.